gonna make a video, Prince.
You want to be in the video too? Do you want to be in the video too? Oh my goodness.
Oh, he does.
Do you want to be in the video too? Oh, he's happy to.
You have something to say about Space Prince? Because you didn't play it.
Oh, we're rolling.
We're rolling. Hi.
Hi.
We're gonna talk about Space.
That's what we're talking about, and our Greyhound's going to talk about it too. Isn't that right? Are you going to talk about Space? Do you want to talk about it? Oh my goodness, he does.
All right. So that's our dog cameo. So welcome to Shelf Control. I'm Norm.
I'm Lisa. I'm Lisa.
And that was Prince.
That's Prince.
So Space by John D Clair. It is a dice rolling where it is a dice rolling game where you're actually building out a tableau and kind of like Settlers of Catan or Machikoro. Every turn somebody rolls a die and everybody has the potential of getting something from that die roll. You have your board, which has 12 spots, numbered 1 through 12, that holds these narrow cards. And they're not your normal size cards, because you got to get 12 of them to go across here. And they have a number in the corner, and when that number is rolled, you get what's on the bottom. And then as you generate more money, you'll be able to buy cards from the market at the top for the cost up in the corner here. Like this one costs 8. When you buy a card, this one is for dice placement number 6. You'd put it in your number 6 spot, but everyone starts with one starter card in every spot.
So everybody starts with the exact same cards on their board.
And when you buy a new card, if it's for the 6 slot, this would go into that slot, but the card that's existing there gets removed, flips over, and goes behind your board with the red part showing.
It goes bottom up.
And so that is what you'll get on other people's turns. If they roll a 6, you'll get what's in the red. And this can stack up quite long if you keep buying 6s, because then that 6 will come flip over, and then it just keeps stacking up like that. So your goal, what you're trying to do in the game is you're trying to get the layout of the cards on your board in a strategy that you're going to try and do, whether you want to get a spread of every number, or if you want to clump it on certain numbers, where if that number comes up, then you're going to get a lot.
And the whole time you're also trying to build up at the bottom here. So you want money, and that's used to buy new cards. There's income there, which is going to earn you money, earn you extra money, and then you've got your points. So whoever gets to 40 points, excuse me, whoever gets to 40 points wins the game. Or if multiple people get there that round, then it's whoever has the most.
You can move further. You mark off, you designate who the start player is, and then when somebody hits 40, you come back around to right before the starting player, or everyone gets an equal number of turns. So if the starting player ends the game, everybody else gets a turn to get as many points as they can. If the last player ends the game, it stops.
That's it.
The starting player doesn't get a chance to go any further.
And so as you get money, so at the end of the turn, at the end of your turn, you may end up with, let's say, 12 money. And then you'll have a pool of cards in the center that you can buy from. So there's different levels of cards in the middle. So you can buy one of those, and once you buy, you can only buy one card per turn. And once you buy, your money goes all the way to zero, whether it costs you 12 or not. You end up using all your money. So it goes back to zero, or it goes back to the level that your income is at. So if your income is at 5 and you have 12 money, you spend it on a 10 card, then instead of going to zero, you're going to take your money value down to 5.
So the only time that you can carry money over is if you decide not to buy anything that turn. Then your money will stay where it is, and next turn it can get higher, so you can buy those higher value cards. Because the market is broken up into 3 decks of cards, 1, 2, and 3, that go up in strength, but also up in price. So the first few rounds, you're not going to be buying from the 3rd row, and possibly not even the 2nd. So you're buying those first row cards to start getting your engine going to where you can get the money to then go to 2 and 3. There's also off to the side a set of cards numbered 1 through 12 that is just points. So it's like a one-time thing, and they're worth increasing amounts of points for increasing amounts of money. And when you buy that, it will take the spot on your board, and then it's a dead space on your turn.
Right, I got dead space.
On other players' turns, the stuff that you have stacked up here can still trigger, but that space, it got you a one-time bonus of so many points, and then that if you roll that on your turn, it's just a dead space.
Sorry, what's the void? The dead space.
One thing that this does is you roll 2 dice, and you have the option of doing each dice individually or adding them together. So if you rolled a 3 and a 4, you could either trigger your 3 spot and your 4 spot, or you could trigger your 7 spot. And so the lower dice, you can just concentrate on those to try and get multiple hits, but everything 7 and higher is not going to trigger unless you combine them together. So only 1 spot is triggering instead of the 2. And these higher up ones tend to be the stronger ones. And also your 1s and 12s are pretty strong too, because they don't get rolled very often.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much the game. You're constantly buying cards.
I will buy another card, counselor.
Changing your tableau, trying to get some strategy of, okay, I'm going to concentrate on these numbers. Do I concentrate on doing 2 dice and concentrate on the numbers that get rolled most often? Or am I going to concentrate on just the single dice? Or am I going to think about, well, 12s have the strongest abilities. Maybe I get some 12s, and you can get some cards that you could put in the 10 spot that would say, trigger the spot 2 in any direction to make it easier for you to roll that 12. And or just be like, I'm just going to throw my fate to the random number generator. I'm going to put all mine on 9, and if I don't roll a 9, I get nothing, but when I roll a 9, you guys are in trouble. So there's lots of multiple ways that you can play this. This was a pretty easy explanation compared to the one we did for Gloomhaven. It almost feels like we're missing something.
But we're not.
What do you like about this game? Don't like?
I don't think there's anything I dislike about it. I enjoyed this. We played this with my sister and with our son David. He really likes these type of games. His favorite game is Manticoro, so he's a fan of this.
He might take issue at saying that's his favorite game.
That's true.
But he likes it a lot.
He likes it a lot. Yeah. So I think that it's a simple game to learn. It's not complicated. You roll dice. You do whatever the dice tell you to do. So it's fun. That way you're still participating as when it's other people's turns. You're not having to wait until your turn to actually get something. So everybody benefits from it. You're eager to see what dice are rolled. You're scream. Well, if you're my sister, you're screaming and yelling at each die roll because you want certain numbers. So it's not a intense game. It's something that's a good. I don't know. We enjoyed it. We had a game day with my sister and our son, and this was one of the games we played, and everybody enjoyed it. I think we played it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy it.
Yeah, there's things about it that I enjoy. I like the fact that this game is going to get a lot of comparisons to Machi Koro. If you've seen our video on Machi Koro, you understand how that's played, and you see the similarities here. One thing that I think is neat about this, Machi Koro had certain cards that would trigger on somebody else's turn, and other ones that didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And with this one, you can have any of these numbers trigger on someone else's turn. All you have to do is fill that spot with another card, and it flips around to the other side. Yeah. And so there's no numbers that can't trigger on somebody else's turn if they rolled that number. So I like that. The amount of cards available in the market, it's random which ones come out, but you have a lot of choice there. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that it could happen to be like, okay, my strategy is to fill up my 9s, and there's no 9s out there. That's possible, but I wouldn't say that it's common. So you can usually find something worthwhile to buy there. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, carry the money over for next time to get one of those more expensive ones or whatever.
And at first you may find that it's really difficult so our son, his goal in his brain, he's got to get income. So he's always trying to buy cards that will give him income. Me, I'm more interested in points or money because money buys you more cards. So there's no real set strategy. So when we played, I ended up winning because I was getting cards with points and with money, which bought more cards with points. So before I knew it, and everyone's kind of battling, seeing where they are. And I just came in, I was quiet, playing my game. Everyone's, competitive. And here I rolled right through and won. So there's no set way to do it.
Yeah, actually, while we were talking and I was describing different things you could do as a strategy, in my head is like, there's a couple of those I mentioned that I haven't tried, and I think I might try next game. So that'll be interesting to see just how feasible these different strategies are. It does the Catan thing really well, where on other people's turns you're still engaged because you care about what the other people are rolling.
Right.
So you don't get that downtime of scrolling on your phone and being like, oh, is it my turn? Okay, let me roll my dice. You're like, what did you roll? What did you roll?
Yep.
And having that option of splitting the dice or combining them together is neat, because on other people's turns, they're like, I rolled a 2 and a 3. And it's like, all right, 2 and a 3 gets me that, or a 5 gets me that. I'm going to pick the 2 and the 3. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say that it's a deep strategic game or anything like that, because again, you're rolling dice and the market is random. But for what it is, it's quite enjoyable. It's quite enjoyable. When I picked up this game, AEG, the publisher, was doing a big sale. And so I actually picked up it plus all the expansions and stuff that go with it. And it's got, because John D Clair, it's got like saga, so there's like some story elements and things like that go through. And we haven't gone into that.
I was gonna say, we haven't played the expansion.
We haven't. We've played this a number of times. Got a good 4-player in with David and her sister for a couple plays. So I think we're still enjoying this. There's no reason to rush into that. So we'll probably cover those later. I haven't even opened the shrink wrap on those. So we can't really speak to that. So this is just base. Is what
Space.
Space, 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 space.
Space is what we're...
Space.
So...
What are you
Is there
scoring it?
anything else? Yeah, let's do the scoring. One thing I didn't mention, there is one thing that I kind of... That kind of like doesn't sit right with me. And that is the fact that even if I have 24 money, if I buy something that's worth 5, it goes back down to 0. Money doesn't carry over. And you can only buy one thing. So if I have 25, I'm probably going to try and get the most expensive thing that I can find that helps me in some way. I'm not going to take that 5 card might be absolutely perfect for what my strategy is, but I'm not spending 25 money for that 5 card. That part kind of, it doesn't fit in my brain very well.
In my mind.
But,
I don't mind it.
But I understand why it's there from like a gameplay. I mean, they probably tested out all kinds of different ways of doing it. And so the income actually is the way to kind of alleviate that. Because it's like, yeah, if I have 10 income and my money's at 25, I'm spending only 5 for that. It drops down to 0 at the end of my turn. It goes back up to 10. So for scoring, I think I would give this a 6 out of 7, just because of that weird feeling with the income and the randomness of the cards coming out. I feel like it could flow a little bit better, but I couldn't tell you how. And it just seems like there's some rules that are just there because the game would be broken without them, but they don't actually feel like they fit. I don't know how to explain it, but so I would give it a 6 out of 7.
I'd give it a 7.
7?
I don't mind random. Norm's not a big fan of random in games. I don't mind random. That makes me feel a little bit better when he's got more exposure and experience with playing games. So that gives me a chance in playing a game. When there's some random, there's a chance I can win. So I don't mind random. I enjoy random. I grew up with a lot of the basic games in my family, so random was a thing. So I'm just used to it. I don't mind the money piece of it, so I give it a 7. I don't see anything that needs improvement.
And
for what the game is.
I can see that being perfectly fine.
Well, it is perfectly fine for me because it was my score. I don't need you to think that it's perfectly fine. I don't need his approval on my scoring. It's my scoring.
Holy crap! Run away, run away, run away, run away.
So what about the rest?
I don't.
0 to 3 as to
I'd give it
that X factor.
I'd give it a 2. I mean, I would never say no if someone suggested this game. It doesn't take that long, even with 4 players. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's enjoyable to play. Everyone's interacting while you're playing it. So it's not something I'm going to say, oh, we've got to play this right now. But I would absolutely suggest it for new board game people. I would suggest it if there's a group of us. It only plays 4.
No, I don't do 5, I believe. I think there's 5. There's 5 player
Is there?
pieces. Yep, 2 to 5.
Okay. So if there's a group of 5 of you, it's a great game to play. So
Especially because that no downtime in between turns.
yeah. So I
So
2.5.
So that's making it like a 9 or a 9.5.
I know, which is crazy considering Gloomhaven was 10. But these are different games. You can't.
Oh yeah, no.
They're not the same categories. For what this is, it's a solid 9 for me.
Awesome. Well, I would give it a 1 out of the 3.
Wow.
Like if I was to play one of these games, I would suggest this one over like Machikoro.
Well, you don't like Manchikoro.
But there would be situations where I would suggest this, like for playtime or the level of the person playing. But for the most part, like playing with Lisa, I don't know that this would be the first one where I'm like, I would really like to play Space to Base tonight. It could happen. But there are other games that I enjoy playing with her more than this. But I can still see the itch of this occasionally. So I'll give it a 1. It's not one that I would never play. It's one I would rarely ask to play. I'd play it if somebody asked me. And so that would make the total a 7.
He's a prude.
So then the question is, does it stay, Miss 9.5?
I think it stays for sure. And I think it actually replaces Machikoro. I enjoy it more. I think they're both similar in the gameplays, enough so that we don't need both. So if we're going to keep one, I would keep this one over Machikoro, which would make David happy because he would happily add Machikoro to his collection.
I agree. I don't know what any of the expansions do. This would be an interesting game with a static market like the base game Machikoro. Whereas the Machikoro with expansions, the cards come out at random. The base game, you have, these are the cards that you can buy, kind of like a Dominion or a Thunderstone. And so you can actually like look at the cards and strategize with, okay, this is how I want to lay out this board. But there's 12 different numbers here. So I don't know exactly how you would do it. I don't know if the expansions do that. So the only option for the base game is that random.
Yeah, I like the random piece of the Machikoro, and I like the random piece of this.
Yeah, because like one of the things I didn't like if you saw the Machikoro is that when you have the set market out there, it's almost like your strategies are determined before you even play.
Yeah.
You like look out there and be like, okay, that combos with that, which combos with that, which that one also uses that number, so I could throw some of that in as well. And so what you're trying to do is already determined out here. And it would be interesting with this 12, like with 12 different numbers out there. It would be a little bit overwhelming to try and be like, okay, my strategy is going to be this, and this. You'd actually like play around a little bit and see what plays well together. And that would be an interesting puzzle. But I don't know that option is even in the expansions. So we'll see. But yeah, other than that, I think this would replace Machikoro. I don't remember. I think Machikoro may have gotten a 7, and I've rated this one a 7. But I think the difference is I think I gave Machikoro the 7 for gameplay and a 0 for that X factor of how much I want to play it.
Yeah.
So even though this has the 6 instead of the 7 for gameplay, it's got a 1 instead of a 0 for how much I would like to play it.
He would play this one over Machikoro.
Even though Machikoro seems like a much more tightly built machine, this one's more fun to drive than Machikoro.
It's space.
It rattles a little bit, you know. It might make some weird noises sometimes, but you're sitting on the edge of the seat while you're driving. Where Machikoro feels like you're in a much more engineered vehicle that runs smoothly. I don't know. Maybe my analogy's falling apart, but yeah, I think this would replace Machikoro. Now, will this stay in our collection long term? I don't know.
It does for now.
It's a good one to introduce other people to. It's not complicated. It's fairly easy to understand. If our situations changed where we weren't introducing games to new people as much, would this one stay? I don't know. You'd have to ask Miss 9 over here. But for now, I think it stays.
It stays for now. So that's one we get to get rid of, though.
So, yeah, we do get to take Machikoro and knock it off the shelf.
Knock it off the shelf.
We're practicing shelf control.
That's the name of the show.
Yes.
So.
And it's just going to our son's shelf, so. he can deal with it.
Yeah, so if he invites us over, we might still end up playing it over there.
I doubt it.
I'll probably throw this in the car and try and get it played instead.
Well, for right now, if we're going to play a game with him, it's Frosthaven, so we don't have to worry about that for a while.
So I guess that's it. I think we've rambled on enough about Space Base.
We have.
So I appreciate you guys watching. Do you have a preference between Machikaro and Space Base? I'd like to hear your arguments for one or the other. If you like what we're doing here, going through our collection and pitching some out the door and keeping others, please like and subscribe. Share it with people that you think would enjoy this content, because we're going to try and put out more this year than we did the previous year.
Yep.
So we'll see you in the next one.
Hope to see you along for the ride. Bye, guys.
Bye. Good point, Space.
He got a few cameos in there.
Yeah. He's going to be the star of the show.
Probably.